We were told to share, to open up, to be authentic online. But what if the more you reveal, the less control you have? Think about it. That late-night rant after a bad day, the selfie that accidentally shows your street sign, the passive-aggressive status about your job. We've all been there, chasing a fleeting moment of connection or validation. But each post, each comment, each digital confession is a permanent brick in the architecture of your public identity. Every photo, every private moment shared with the world is stored forever, archived and indexed, waiting for the wrong eyes. We've been sold a lie that transparency is strength, but the truth is far more complicated. The digital world has an unforgiving memory, and understanding why oversharing is bad is no longer a suggestion. It's a critical survival skill for the modern age. By the end of this video, you'll see how keeping certain things to yourself isn't about being secretive. It can be your ultimate power.
The silent weight of our digital past is heavier than we realize. The internet's most terrifying feature isn't its scale, but its memory. It never forgets. That decade-old party photo you were tagged in, the politically charged comment you barely remember typing, the complaint about a former employer, they don't just vanish. They exist in a state of digital purgatory, waiting to be summoned. Imagine sitting in a job interview, confident and prepared, only to be questioned about a sarcastic tweet from 7 years ago. The context is gone. Your personal growth since then is irrelevant. All that remains is a frozen-in-time snapshot of a past self, now being used to judge your present character. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's a daily reality that shapes careers and destroys opportunities. The dangers of oversharing on social media extend far beyond professional consequences. Your digital footprint can become evidence in legal disputes, ammunition in custody battles, or leverage for blackmail. Every piece of information you volunteer, your location check-ins, your relationship status updates, your detailed vacation plans, paints a target on your back for those with malicious intent. Beyond these high-stakes threats lies a more subtle, corrosive effect, the constant pressure of being watched. It's like having 100 people peering into your living room 24/7, judging your decor, your conversations, your very existence. This constant public exposure creates an invisible anxiety, a low-grade hum of self-consciousness that follows you from your screen into the real world. Do you really want your entire life archived for public judgment? Even if you believe you have nothing to hide, the question is, do you want to live in a state where you constantly have to prove it? Your digital history becomes a shadow resume, shaping your reputation before you even walk into a room, a permanent record that you can never fully erase. This constant performance takes a heavy toll, raising an inner dilemma that slowly chips away at our well-being. The human cost of oversharing is measured in stress, anxiety, and a fragmented sense of self. We've been conditioned by the platforms we use every day. We've been taught that being seen equals being valued. A post with 100 likes feels like 100 pats on the back. A viral moment feels like a standing ovation. We chase these digital affirmations because they mimic real connection, but it's a hollow echo. The paradox is that the very act of seeking connection through massive public exposure actually erodes our well-being. Instead of fostering genuine intimacy, it creates a performer-audience dynamic where we are perpetually on stage. This leads to a quiet, creeping paranoia, that nagging feeling that someone knows too much. An old friend, a former partner, a random follower, they hold pieces of your life, puzzle parts you handed them freely, that they could one day assemble into a picture you never intended to show. You start second-guessing your posts. You worry about how a joke might be misinterpreted or how a personal story could be used against you. This isn't healthy. It's a state of high-alert living, where your own history feels like a liability. You've curated an identity for the world, but now you're trapped by it, forced to maintain a persona that might no longer align with who you are. The silence, the space away from the public eye, begins to feel less like loneliness and more like a sanctuary. There is a way to reclaim your life from this constant scrutiny, to step off the stage and back into your own skin. To understand how to fix this, we have to look at the hidden cause, the root issue driving this behavior. We overshare because we've been masterfully conditioned to do so. The entire architecture of social media is built on a feedback loop of exposure and reward. Every like, share, and comment is a tiny dopamine hit, a neurological signal that says, you are seen, you are relevant. Viral culture glorifies the most extreme forms of exposure, rewarding raw, unfiltered, and often reckless sharing with massive attention. We see others doing it and think it's the norm, the price of admission to modern society. But there's a deeper psychological reason. Our nervous system wasn't built to be endlessly scrutinized by hundreds or thousands of people. For millennia, our social sphere was limited to a small, trusted tribe. Reputation was managed within that close-knit group. Today, we've outsourced that function to a global, faceless audience that has no context for our lives and no investment in our well-being. This creates a destructive behavioral pattern. We overshare to feel validated and seen by the crowd. We get that momentary rush of connection, but it's immediately followed by a wave of vulnerability and anxiety as we await judgment from that same crowd. Did I say too much? Will people twist my words? Am I safe? We are caught in a cycle of seeking approval from the very source that causes us so much stress. The erosion of our privacy wasn't an accident. It was a design choice by platforms that profit from our data and attention. Breaking free requires a conscious decision to reject this design and build our own framework for a healthier life. The solution isn't to delete everything and move to a cabin in the woods. It's to build a new framework for how you engage with the world, a three-part system of awareness, confrontation, and recalibration. First is awareness. This is the simple, powerful realization that oversharing is a form of radical vulnerability. You must begin to see your personal information not as content, but as currency. Every detail you share can be twisted, stored, or weaponized. This isn't about becoming paranoid, it's about becoming strategic. Before you post, pause and think of your words or photos as permanent assets. Who are you giving this asset to? A close friend via a private message, or a nameless, faceless audience of thousands? Awareness means understanding that your privacy is your power. When you control the narrative by controlling what you reveal, you protect your peace, your reputation, and your future. See every post as a permanent entry into your uneditable life story. Ask yourself, is this detail truly essential for the world to know? Second is confrontation. Challenge the belief that more exposure equals more authenticity. True authenticity isn't broadcasting every thought and feeling. It's being honest with yourself and those who've earned your trust. Confront the urge to share by asking, am I sharing to genuinely connect or to feed a crowd that will judge me? Connection is targeted, deep, private. Performance is broad, shallow, public. Your life isn't only valuable if it's documented. The best moments often happen when the phone is down. Your worth isn't measured in likes, and experiences aren't less real if unposted. Third, and most importantly, is recalibration. Reclaim your privacy as strength. Practice selective sharing. Set digital boundaries. Maybe your inner circle gets the full story, your wider circle a brief update, and the public nothing. Apply a 24-hour rule for emotionally charged posts. Often, the impulse will pass, and you'll be grateful you held back. Enjoy silence. Find joy in experiences just for you. A sunset, a great meal, a quiet reflection, without an audience. Recalibration shifts focus from external validation to internal peace. True strength lies in what remains unseen, what belongs only to you. We live in a world obsessed with broadcasting, yet the safest, strongest, freest identity is the one no one can weaponize. An open life lets anyone tear out a page and use it against you. Curate your story with intention. Cherish your privacy. Your digital footprint becomes a deliberate reflection of your best self, not a collage of your worst moments. This isn't hiding, it's protecting, building a life with less stress, deeper relationships, and stronger boundaries. Not every thought needs a tweet, not every moment a post. The ultimate power move in an age of overexposure is selective visibility. So consider, what if freedom isn't in saying more, but in keeping more to yourself?